right. So you guys have been boot camping in Serbia, but you have now returned. Most of you have returned, right? Alex es3tag, you're back in France and Denmark, respectively.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. So everybody's left. Only Floppy is there, marooned on the
Yeah.
HenryG island.
It's
Kassad's there too, I assume, just maybe not in
so
the same
we
house.
all live in the same building. So Kassad and I are neighbors. We live on the same floor on floor 17 here, way up top, and then down below, beneath deck, floor number 4. That's where Floppy is, shoveling the coal, making sure everything's going to plan. So one day he's hoping to get himself up to the 17th floor, but for now, working his way up the ranks. But yeah, he's doing well. I'm basically here to make sure he's okay. He's only 20 years old, bear in mind. So changing continents, changing jobs and everything, I thought it'd be just a gesture to show our appreciation. I came with him and made sure he gets set up correctly. So yeah, in Serbia, boot camp is very good, very cost effective as well, and pretty much the only country we could really viably choose considering the global situation. So yeah, Serbia is a bit of a hub for esports right now.
Do you think Floppy considers you a father figure now?
I would say cooler older brother. I don't think I'm quite old enough to be the dad just yet, but
You're
I
my
think
age and I'm a dad.
yeah, that's true. I don't think I was built to be a father, though. I don't think it's the right path for me. I just think just an older brother, that's about as much as I can offer him. Just a bit of guidance, maybe learn from my mistakes, perhaps. Don't do what I did in your life, and you'll be all right.
Well,
Yeah, I think I'm more Floppy's dad at the moment. Yeah. I mean,
so
I play the sites with him, so maybe I'm his dad.
Uh,
Yeah,
maybe. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Well, it's good to know that he has so many role models. Not all of them good in Henry's case, but I'm sure the
Certainly
rest
not.
of you. I'm sure the rest of you have been leading him down the straight and narrow path. So, Alex, you were the first one who was announced on this Cloud9 roster, and now we've seen absolutely everyone else announced. So, es3tag coming over from his brief stint on Astralis. Woxic was announced after you, the very up and coming player Mezzi, and then I would say the surprise player of Floppy, because it was first announced that he was going to be continuing with the rest of his former Cloud9 teammates, and then he made a change of heart, which I think is probably wise for the bigger picture of his career. So what was the process of assembling the final few players, if you guys want to chip in? Let's start with you and Henry and Alex. Talk about how you scouted Mezzi and convinced Floppy to come over. And then I'd like to hear about es3tag, about him being the last player added to this roster and how he came on board.
Okay, so we'll start with Mezzi. When I was building the team, I wanted to have a bit of British blood in there. I feel like there's so many players within the UK scene right now that are fantastically skilled. They just haven't been surrounded by the right resources and learned from the right people. So many people told me about Mezzi, and once I spoke to Alex about him, he was relatively aware, known of him, and known how good he is, and just how many amazing reviews we got and vouchers from other players are saying, yeah, I don't know why Mezzi hasn't broken through yet. Kassad and I sat down and watched his demos, and we both agreed that he was just amazing in terms of his kind of presence on the server, I suppose. Very calm, very mechanically gifted, knew every single bit of utility in the game, it seemed, and it just seemed like his play style was exactly what we were looking for. So Alex and I got talking to him, and it just seemed very clear that he was looking for his next step in his career to get himself to the next level. Obviously, this is quite the leap from his previous team, but I don't know, boys, what do you think? You feel like he's kind of getting into the role and kind of finding his footing so far?
I feel like the
Yeah.
only thing that's wrong with him is his settings, but other than that, he's
Yeah.
a fantastic player.
What's
Yeah.
wrong with his settings? I'm unfamiliar.
I think he runs with mouse 2 or something, or maybe you got more
Oh,
on
Yeah,
that,
my
it
Alex.
goes
Like,
God.
I
forward
don't know,
with
it's something
mouse
crazy.
2, yeah, something like that. But
It's
yeah, no, I
something
think
crazy.
he's really good. I think for how little experience he has, he's just like super good and super aware of everything, and it's kind
How
of
does
what
one? Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. How does one learn to walk with mouse? Like who
So
trained him wrong at the
his
beginning?
dad-
Like what was the path to walking with mouse 2? Like how do you arrive at this tragic destination where you're like,
Get this.
you sit there and you're like, I'm gonna unbind my W key and then move it to right click. Like how does that occur?
So in original Quake games and other FPS titles like that, arena titles, there are a few of them. that the default was you would walk forward with the right click. So some really tenuous games, I can't even recall what it was. His dad was a player of those.
Yeah.
I'll get
I
this.
was gonna
His
say it
dad,
couldn't have been him because he's like
yeah,
12 years old. So
I've played against Mezzi's dad at a CS event before. That's how old I'm feeling right now. I've played against Mezzi's dad at a tournament about 12 years ago. So yeah,
did you
he
win?
learned from his dad. Yeah, his dad wasn't a pro player or anything. It's just kind of funny that he was playing at tournaments when
Do
I
you
was
remind him about
starting
that?
out.
Do you just do you walk up to him and be like,
No,
I try to
keep it. I try to keep it out of my mind. Just how old I'm getting, and I'm employing kids this age, and that's kind of insane. But yeah, like he's a great addition to the team. I think it's very important to have rookies within the lineup as well. They haven't been tainted by other teams. They don't have the bad habits or ego from championship victories, anything like that. Not that that's a problem with these two either, to be honest with you. But we'll see how he gets going on as time goes on forward. And you know what? We'll see how he delivers. It's unfortunate we have to play online because I think he would have done a lot of damage online. He seems like one of those players that's ready to step up. But yeah, very, very happy with the signing of Mezzi. He's going to be
All
great.
right, so sorry, Alex. I had to interrupt you there because I had to know
It's all
how
good.
something. It's one of those stories where, it's like watching the tragic tale of a drug addict. Where you're like, how do you even get to that point, man? It's so sad. But
Yeah.
so I had to know the backstory. I had to know the backstory. See,
That's
I'm just
fine.
incredulous. All right, so continue. How's he integrating into the team there, Alex?
Really well. I think we had a couple of issues at the start, just personality-wise, where we'd put Floppy and Will together, and they don't speak as much as I guess we originally planned. So we just changed a few things up, and they're both doing really, really well. Yeah.
Okay, so we got that. And so how did you change Floppy's mind? What kind of player were you
Yeah.
looking for to fill that role, and why was Floppy the choice, and how'd you convince him?
Well, that's why I think I'm his dad. It's just because I just had a couple of conversations with him, and he was like, "Yeah, maybe I should speak to Henry." I was like, "Yeah, maybe you should." And it's just one of those parent to child talks, and he went to speak to Henry in the end.
I think it just shows it's a great display of character from Floppy. Like they'd worked very hard within the old roster. They didn't obviously get the results they were looking for, but their spirit was always very, very kind of like morale based around being this lineup that would the underdogs. They got picked up by a massive organization. Maybe shouldn't have happened. I'm not sure which way you're leaning towards that one, but they definitely worked really hard. They wanted to prove themselves and show they won. Just a bogey pickup out of necessity almost, and he wanted to stay with them and see what could be done to the roster. And unfortunately, with the major being cancelled and everything kind of going against them, it just didn't seem to make sense. And I think thankfully he made the right choice. Like obviously it's a very daunting prospect when you're 20 to change continents completely and just pack up your life. But yeah, I think it's the right choice for him, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, if you ask me. A player that hasn't got that much experience to be brought over to continue your contract with Cloud9 with this world class roster now. We're very happy to have him, and I think it was the best move he could have made. So yeah, it took a little bit of convincing, but we got the original goal achieved there. He was number one of our list as well. When we first started this roster, we were coming into it, we said like out of the old team, we wanted to have Floppy, maybe OC, but Floppy was number one for sure.
All right, and let's talk about es3tag a little now. So how did you find yourself on this roster from your perspective, es3tag? What happened? Why were you looking to potentially leave Astralis, especially since the roster was doing very well when you were playing?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily looking, but of course, I mean, when offers come your way, you have to like see them, and the deal was that I was a sixth man on Astralis, and Acipic was coming back, so like you kind of have to take into consideration, is it worth staying in Astralis if there's another amazing deal coming your way? And I knew Alex. I've spoken a little bit with him at previous events, and I knew he was a great guy. Also knew, I mean, they were doing really well in Vitality when he was there, so I knew he was a capable in-game leader. And then I like the new talent, the new blood, being able to kind of influence them in a good way. I feel like when you talk something like tell something to Floppy, tell something to Messi, like I feel like they take it in and they really learn from it. So it's just a joy playing on this team. And so far, I feel like the results we're getting in practice, I'm really looking forward to play officials and show off what we got. So yeah.
So Henry, when you started this adventure, we were talking on the Flashpoint Q&A about how you had the spreadsheet with Kassad, and you guys were you had arranged things by roles and were trying to do it conceptually. now that you've had some time here, have any of the roles changed, and how would you describe each player's role that now that you've signed everyone? Because I'm curious if there was any, kind of flexibility
The only-
there, if you've changed anything.
I think the only compromise we originally made was we didn't see Patrick es3tag as an entry fragger. That was the last role we wanted to fill up. I don't think we pigeonhole everyone on every map saying you have to do this. It's that we try and make sure everyone's comfortable and what makes sense. But if we were to pigeonhole roles and everything like that, we were looking to fill that fifth spot. We were trying to get the aggressive rifle / entry. And we spoke to Patrick. It's like, okay, so we've got this role. This is what we need to fill. Do you think we can do it? And do you think you can fulfill this? And the first thing he said is, well, that's the role I want to do. I was like, okay, that worked. That makes things a lot easier.
Is
and
he
he's
good
like,
at
yeah.
it too, or does he just want to do it?
Well, he does it in his own way. He's got a lot of conviction behind what he suggests, what he wants to bring to the table, and that's what we're
Ambiguous
looking
answer.
And, well, it's one of those things like they take matters into their own hands. It's not like everyone says what they want to do, and we try and make that work. So I don't think it's easy enough to say like this guy does this on every single map, and he does this. Apart from Woxic potentially, of course, like he's obviously our sniper across the board. I think he's in amazing career peak form right now as well. I would say he's our absolute star player. But the roles really make sense. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, boys. I don't think there's any compromises we had to make since we started practice. Like how we laid out the blueprint originally is pretty much how it's going, and every map seems to make sense. We're not like arguing over positions on any of the map pool right now.
No, it's
No,
looking
we
pretty
just
good.
changed a couple of roles between Patrick and myself, but
Yeah.
not roles, more bomb sites. But no, it's pretty much set now. Yeah.
Everything's going well, Monty. That's all you need to know. Everyone should fear us. Everyone's looking good. We're ready to frag.
Okay, I've clipped that for a flashpoint later.
Yeah.
See if it's true. We'll be coming back. Don't
I
think
know,
that
I know.
all of this. See, my power, Henry, is remembering everyone's takes and then shaming them about it later. That is.
I don't think you can really forget mine. I think everyone recalls the shit I've been talking about this team as the months go by. I don't think it's difficult. I didn't say that. It's pretty well documented everywhere on the internet.
That's fair. No, I'm very excited to see you guys playing. So how has the practice been going? For those of you who don't know, Cloud9 was all together at a boot camp in Serbia and is now going to be playing Flashpoint starting on Tuesday from their various homes, except for, well, I guess it's Floppy's new home in Serbia for the time being.
Yeah, he's not like in a hotel or anything. He has a proper apartment with us. Practice has been going good. It's been pretty intense. We've been trying to do 5 or 6 maps a day with 2 hours theory in before practice starts as well. Obviously, with the tournaments coming up and us being a little behind schedule, we would have ideally liked a few more days because Patrick's contract finishing on the 25th meant we could only start on the 26th already. And thankfully, he was able to come over the next day. We hit the ground running. A few obstacles, I suppose, with Alex having to go back due to the pandemic and Paris going into lockdown. But apart from that, everything has been going as well as it could be. I'm not going to say we have everything under lock and key after 12 days practice and then we're at the Flashpoint, but I think we've got enough down now to be competitors, to be in the conversation of winning the tournament. It'll be a scrappy victory for sure. We'd have to steal it away, I think, due to the lack of practice days here, but still, like, is the time we've had, we've been very efficient with it. Like, I'll say that much. It seems like the results and the kind of work we're putting in terms of the theory, that's all being kind of reflected on what we're seeing on the server. There's no like massive holes in our setups right now or huge issues we have to sort out. It's more just evolving and adding new ideas to our game plan.
What did you want to work on as an IGL when you came into this boot camp, Alex? What was kind of your checklist of things you wanted to get down in this week?
I guess the number one thing was making sure everyone's comfortable. Making sure everyone has like a role that they're enjoying, I guess. Although we did change like 3 days in, I think, so a few things, but I think that was like number one on the checklist, and then getting 4 maps done, like all the theory done, and then having time to practice them and get as good as we could on them. I think that was the main objective for the boot camp. Trying to think if there's anything else, but I think that was like the 2 main goals. Yeah.
es3tag, what was it like to switch between Glaive being IGL and then having Alex do it for you later on? Obviously, Glaive. These are 2 very famous IGLs, which is like exciting. What's kind of the difference between their styles that you've noticed?
I mean, when I was in Australis, it was more so Magic's game leading, and then Glaive was doing kind of like the mid-round calling sometimes. But to be honest, like everyone in Australia has had really good game sense, and everyone's really capable of like doing mid-round calls. I feel like it's kind of just less ideas conflicting because I think we have some more quiet players in Cloud9, which means that there's more room for me and Alex and sometimes Voxic to throw in ideas whenever we want to do it, and then I feel like it's just less chaotic maybe. So I don't see a big difference. Like Rosales, of course, have really capable like in-game leaders, all of us like individually. But I feel like on Cloud9, it's easier for me and Alex to get through with our voices. And I think that's both like I think it's more so a strength that there's not many conflicting ideas as well.
Have you taken up the role of a secondary caller then es3tag on this lineup? Is that something that you wanted to do with the move?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think necessarily a secondary call. I just bring a lot of ideas, I think, and Alex has been really good at accepting them and using them in his calls as well, and in his style. So I think it's more so that, not me being a second in-game leader at all. But I have some roles where I am able to make calls in like mid round because I get a lot of information and I'm playing very solo on my site. So it's more so that I think.
How come you don't have a Danish accent at all?
Getting to the real questions now. Here we go.
Danish. I'm surprised because Danish
Sounds
people
American.
speaking English sound like they're talking around a potato in their
What about
mouth.
Anders?
Yeah, what
Come
about
on.
Anders?
I said what I said. Anyway,
Okay.
I said what I
Anders still
said.
has an accent. Like you can still hear Anders' accent.
Yeah, why do you sound American?
I don't know. Play games all my life. My mom is my mom has some American family, but it's not so much that at all. My stepdad was Irish, and like there's just I don't know a lot of English being spoken throughout my life, and like the household as well was kind of English. So you know, in order to learn what my mom was talking about in secret with my stepdad, I had to learn English fast, and I don't know, I just developed non-Danish accent, I guess.
Well, you sound beautiful. I want you to know.
Thank
that.
you.
All right. We are going to do a Puma giveaway chat.
Ooh.
So if you would like to have a chance of winning a Puma gift card and you live in North America like true Cloud9 fans and you are over 18, which means it's acceptable for you to watch Flashpoint, then please type hashtag Puma in chat and somebody in chat will eventually decide with their godly powers who will receive the Puma gift card. And then you can look cool like all three of them because they're all wearing the Puma
I feel
gear.
pretty cool right now. It's a nice hoodie I'm wearing. This is my favorite piece.
Yeah, it's
Get on this.
All right.
I need that one as well, actually.
Yeah, me
This
too.
is the one.
I think I'm getting that one.
Yeah, I've hooked
So-
you up. It's coming.
It's coming.
All good stuff. I actually really like the new Puma line. Every time they release like a new line, it just has been getting progressively better and better. More Cloud9y, feels more on brand every time they do it. So it's been good.
Yeah. Agreed.
So moving on past the practice right now, well, let's start here. Are you comfortable with saying any of the teams that you've been scrimming with, or are you trying to keep that on the down?
We play everyone pretty much apart from Flashpoint teams. That's pretty much.
We
do
played
play
a
any
few
Flash?
Flashpoint teams.
Sometimes
yeah.
we do,
Have
and then
we?
we just.
And then we think to ourselves, yeah, we need to stop playing Flashpoint
Yeah,
teams.
I think that's general rule of thumb. Let's stop playing them if we can. I think that's the only
yeah.
thing I would keep in mind. Like we don't like not play anyone else there, right? Like there's no one there's no blacklisted teams or anything like that. I think everyone else is cool.
We've played pretty much everyone, I think, at least once.
Yeah, like it's just what you'd
bar a
expect.
few
Like
teams.
just like the teams that make sense. Anyone who's in Europe, who's active, who's playing a lot right now, and who's up to date. Like as long as they're a well-known team, established, not like a brand new mixed team or anything like that, we'll play them. Like the skill level is so much higher than it used to be like 5 years ago. Like there's so many great competitive teams out there for practice and stuff. So there's always plenty of games going. So there's like we play against all the teams you know and love, and then a few teams you might not have heard of as well.
If you guys had to pick one team who you think is going to be a dark horse of Flashpoint, given maybe some of these scrims or rumors or other recent competitive results, who would you guys pick? So don't go out there and be picking big or Fnatic. Pick somebody that might do something that people don't expect.
Whew, okay.
I would have gone for
right.
MIBR, like just based off practice.
Sure.
Although I wasn't
That's a
sure
good
that they would
shout.
play the same in practice as they were in officials, but it turns out they're doing pretty well as well in officials. So I'd go for MIBR. I think
Yeah.
when we were at the boot camp, we work hard. Like we were there at 9:30, 10 till 10ish, but they were there like before and after us, kind of thing. It was, I don't know what hours they were doing, but it was insane. So So yeah, that might be.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. I'd be very interested to see what Mad Lions can do as well. I haven't had a chance to really look at their kind of new look roster. They always seem to do damage. Of course, a Flashpoint. So interested to see if they can bring some firepower back. I know they'll be looking to prove themselves, but I don't think I've seen them in action recently. But yeah, they're all very capable players in there. I'm sure they can do some damage.
Any love for Virtus Pro, es3tag? They've been doing pretty well recently.
Yeah, don't know if Virtus Pro is going to do any damage. Like, I haven't really played against them in practice, I don't think. But I would also like to pick the MIBR train. I think they're doing amazing. So, not just because of their official, but in practice they were doing really good.
Coming from the Danish scene, do you have any thoughts about Mad Lions moving over with Refresh and Hooksy now? What are they adding to this Mad Lions roster? I'm curious your thoughts.
It's hard to say. It's I don't really know how they work as players because I haven't really played with them, Refresh and Hooksy, but I know that they bring a lot of firepower. I think that's kind of the idea behind it. I know that they bring some qualities that maybe the others didn't have. But I know that Acar is always going to be fragging, so I don't know. It's hard to say about the lineup. Sure, they could be doing amazing in Flashpoint, but it's really hard to say because I don't think we've scrimmed in at all. But yeah, I've never played with them, but I know Refresh is really good individually, and Hooksy is also pretty good. But I haven't seen it, like how he calls or played on team with him, so I really wouldn't know. No insight from the Danes.
All right, so now that we are about to do our group selection in a couple of hours, I was asking Henry this question last night, so he doesn't have to answer it again. But I do want to hear from you guys if you could pick one team to be in your group in Flashpoint, who would it be, Alex?
Gen.G.
Gen.G. So you're going with Exist and other stand-ins coming in, Kreese coming in, and you think they're going to be the easiest team, or why?
Well, first of all, I've never beaten Kreese in like 4 games, which is kind of embarrassing because he's terrible. And then second of all, because they haven't actually started practicing yet, so I guess they'll be like the least prepared team. So
That's very fair. What about you, es3tag? Do you want to go against Mad Lions, test out your Danish brethren? Anybody else?
Sure. I'll take Mad Lions. Sure. No specific reason, just to beat the Danes.
Patrick doesn't care. We'll take anyone.
Yeah, anyone.
Take all comers. Take all comers. All right, that's good. So now that you guys are back in your homes, what's the long-term plan for Cloud9 at this juncture? Where do you guys see yourself in a couple of months, especially with the holidays coming up? Which other tournaments besides Flashpoint are you looking at competing in?
Well, basically for me, my role is now to keep the hype train flowing, make sure that everyone in the world knows about the Cloud9 CSGO roster, which has been my main focus the last couple of months. I think we've done a very good job there. We just got announced the other day, I think, maybe yesterday, the day before, we're doing the Blast, the Showdown event happening in a couple of weeks as well. So yeah, I think the PR campaign we've had and the marketing we've done, we justify some really strong invites for next year. I think we'll be on the tip of everyone's tongue. They'll be asking why Cloud9 aren't invited across the calendar. I think you'll do well to find a reason not to invite our team there. We've got the names within our ranks. We've got the marketing appeal. And I think just for me, just making sure that I grow the players' brands as well. I think I can get them a bit more of the spotlight individually. That's going to be my main focus. And then just trying to get in many tournaments as you possibly can. Very difficult to plan for the future now, Monty, of course, with the global situation. I don't really want to bang on about that. But for me, I just want to see LANs return and just get the boys on LAN as soon as we possibly can. I think this is a LAN team. I think there's a lot to be said about that in terms of the experience we've got, the kind of type of players we have there. But in terms of a plan, we're just taking it each day as it comes right now, waiting for the world to evolve and see what the future holds. I don't really know. Just events and hope for the best.
And you will be moving to America in the long run. That is the eventual goal.
If the world allows it and it makes sense, if i.e. there's actual Counter-Strike to be played in North America still, there's a few different scenarios that have to come true for it to happen. But yes, we've all agreed at some point we'll be transferring to America if it makes sense for Cloud9, if it makes sense for us and the team as a whole. So yeah, definitely want to do it because we'd be having access to the Cloud9 resources, the facilities, and be able to actually play under the Cloud9 brand officially, but doing it from their offices and treating it like a proper job. And hopefully that day comes, but I'm not sure it will, considering the current outlook of North American Counter-Strike. We're kind of working it out as time goes on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What are your guys' goals for the rest of the year and heading into next year, Alex and es3tag? What do you think is acceptable? Because Henry's saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to win Flashpoint 2." That was before. Granted, he knew that we invited some pretty good teams.
Thank you.
We baited him. We baited him into strong comments before he had all the information. Maybe he baited himself in some ways. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But what are you guys looking to accomplish here at Flashpoint now that you know the field of teams? And where are the benchmarks? Like, where would you be happy by the end of the year, and where would you be happy in a year from now?
Flashpoint, I guess, is still to win. It hasn't changed much. Like inviting big teams. It's not like, I think the field was already like not too bad anyway. So a couple of good teams. I think we'll play better against them as well because we'll be like really hyped to play against them. And then to qualify for Blast finals as well in the Blast event that we have. And then I guess our main goal is to get to the top 10 as quick as possible. So like hopefully early next year we can do that. Yeah.
es3tag, where are your goals? Because you're coming off being on one of the best teams in the world. So I assume you wouldn't have made this transfer unless you were very bullish about where this team was going.
We're going to win it all, Monty. It's no issue.
God bless you.
Like, nothing has changed. I don't
That's
really
what we
care.
signed him.
Like, I don't really care which teams you guys invite. Like, we're gonna win it all. It doesn't really matter.
There we go. My ride or die.
I love it.
I like that.
I mean, Henry has done the groundwork, hyping us all up, but me and Alex will make sure we stay there. Ain't that right, Alex?
I believe.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna win, Monty.
I love it. You guys must have had some really good scrims so far. Really good scrims so far. Oh, I will. Don't worry.
Today was excellent scrimmage. We've put the fear of God in every other team out there. I hope they're all gossiping how good we are, because we absolutely batter most teams. So it's looking good. It's looking good.
Excellent. And where are you looking for in terms of being a year from now, es3tag, and into 2021?
A year from now, hopefully at the top of the iceberg, #1 in the world, winning lots of tournaments. I don't know. Like, I usually go day by day, but Monty, like, the plan is to win. Always has been, and we're doing it under the Cloud9 banner. It's just how it is.
You're gonna get that second major title, right?
Yeah, I'll get one. Just one, please. I'll take one. I'll take a sticker. I'll take a sticker first, Monty.
Yeah,
I've never been to a minor, man.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with a major. Like, I'll be happy there.
Just playing in one would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be great.
I mean, even having a major at this point would be great. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows when that's gonna happen? It's all right.
Never.
We're just gonna get stuck in the endless cycle of RMR events for maybe a major.
Not a fan of this.
The prize pools are just divided among 23 different RMRs, and maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't.
Play 20 maps to get 30,000. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not at Flashpoint. We actually made our format shorter, but kept our prize pool the same. So God bless Flashpoint.
Yep.
The amount of money you can win per map now, higher than ever.
Got to respect that. That's why very happy to be here, Monty. Whatever you need, we'll facilitate it. Don't worry.
That's what I like to hear. As Tommy or Lurpus from MIBR and Immortals tweeted out earlier today, there are only 2 tournaments this year with a prize pool of over $650,000, and both of them are Flashpoint. So,
not bad. Not bad.
I unfollowed Tommy because he kept spamming about Tesla. So
I was about to say, you said he tweeted something other than Tesla. I was like, what?
So here's the thing. You actually can turn off his retweets. I find that to be a very useful Lurpus function that Twitter offers me.
It's just it became a Tesla page. It's not a gaming page anymore. So I just unfollowed it.
So, I appreciate that. I spent a long time just asking, trolling him about Tesla every time he would tweet about it. So that you can have fun with it too. You can have fun with it. But I recommend personally the disable retweet.
I like the Tesla tweets. I read them all. I enjoy it. I if anything, I turn notifications on.
I click the Bitcoin, all that stuff. You love it.
I want to know everything, so I'm a subscriber.
I wonder if he's ever going to be proven right in that battle. It is so epic at this point in time that it is almost worth following. It is almost
Absolutely. When it all blows up in his face and they keep making more money, it's going to be great. It's a good thing. Very happy with that.
All right, guys. I am going to unfortunately allow Twitch chat to ask you some
we go.
questions because
Oh,
there
no.
hasn't been a lot of interaction so far between Twitch chat and Alex and es3tag. Henry, I'm not letting them ask questions. They got a chance to ask you questions yesterday.
Okay, fair enough. I'll just be here. Whatever
Plus,
you need.
And but you know what, guys? You should thank me because I'm going to be the filter between your brains and Twitch chat, so I will receive the brunt of the brain damage. All right, and I'll filter through it for you. Okay, Prowler, I can already tell you that they're not going to answer what their strongest map is because they're not going to give away information. See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Oh, I can say it if you want. There's no problem.
I mean, it's up to you.
Don't allow him. Don't allow him.
No,
Stop,
never
Alex.
mind.
Stop.
I've been banned. Sorry.
Okay, so people are wondering how well Floppy is doing right now because he was clearly, I think, the best player on the last Cloud9 roster. And how is he stacking up within the new structure?
I think
Is
Floppy's
that-
doing amazing.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
do.
yeah, he's playing with me on basically every site, as CT, and like I feel like he's really doing what he's been told, and he's fragging really hard, and he's just doing great overall in that sense. So I think he's already like moved a lot from. I think he's gotten even better than what he was before by far. And I think he's only going to continue to get better, especially at that young age that he's at. Um, I'm more so curious about how the move to Serbia is, but
I mean, it's fine. It's not been very eventful. Him and I don't really know anyone here, so we just kind of sit in our apartments, hanging out, and we play Counter-Strike. It's actually pretty good life. I'm used to
it's
it.
the CS:GO life. But yeah, Floppy's
Exactly.
been doing amazing. Not much else to say really.
Okay, so here's a good question for you. What is Walk6 ping going to be an issue, do you think, for you guys in this online era?
Funny you should say that.
It is.
No, I mean, I
Especially
think
because he's
if
an
it-
opper, right? That's tough.
Yeah, I think Floppy actually sorted him out with
Floppy
exit
did.
like or whatever. But if
Yeah.
he has any issues, he has
Floppy
an open invite to Henry's
Some sort
palace
of
in Serbia.
superhero
So
that can break the speed of light and get me better ping.
Well, we
yeah, or
always have.
something like that.
I
yeah.
made sure I had a spare
Yeah.
bedroom here at this place, so he's only an hour flight from Serbia. So if he ever has to come over here for like a crazy big game or anything like that, he can come over if there's any ever issues. But overall, I think he gets like with this new routing software we got him, he gets like 40 to 45 ping, something like that, right?
Yeah,
It's not
So
bad.
instead of
Sometimes
65.
It's a-
30. Like it's a
yeah,
lot better.
exactly. So it used to be 60. We found this new software that kind of reroutes his packets, and somehow we've shaved like 20 ms off. So yeah, it's not too bad.
Cool.
That was all Floppy's doing.
It was Floppy. He's the
Yeah.
hacker man.
Hacker man, Floppy, or you know.
Let's see here. Let's look through. God, a lot of questions. So let me pick some good ones. No, we're not asking about potential players on this roster, guys. Come on.
Potential players.
Was a six.
The players
yeah.
that
Oh,
could
okay.
have been.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Let me. I'll think if there's any ones that are safe.
It's a
I don't
long
want
list,
to throw anyone under the bus.
No, don't answer. All right. I've got a
Okay.
question for you because I think this is interesting given that you've spoken favorably about it, Henry, and recently es3tag was in this position. So I think you guys have a good take on it. Do you actually want a sixth player on your roster? And if so, what role do you think that player would fill? And then for es3tag, what was it like to be the sixth man on the roster? And do you think it's a good idea?
So we don't want to approach it like Vitality do, for example. We don't want an active sixth that's going to be coming in halfway through a best of 3 and trying to change things up. We have our final 5 players, our active players, and then we were going to have one replacement player who would be learning all the strategies with us, making sure he works with the guys in the theory practices and stuff like that, and he's online, available, and capable, of course, of filling the role of most players. So it's not going to be a young up and comer. It's not going to be someone that's looking to prove themselves in the scene. It's someone who's already been there and done it, has the experience, knows the guys, and we know is reliable. And ideally, they're a content creator as well. They're a streamer, something like that, so we can pump some content out through them as well. That's our ideal setup. So it's not like I'm trying to find an active sixth who's going to be swapping in and out of each map and anything like that. It's going to be quite a classic Counter-Strike team, but with the uncertain future of the world in general and travel being an issue most of the time, just having a replacement player on standby we know is capable and always going to be available, that's something for me is what I'm at least going for. And I think it's better for everyone. Like, I think if you have an active sixth that's doing really well, anyone who's kind of in the main five, they'll just be paranoid most of the time. They'll be thinking like, oh, if I have a bad game, I can be replaced. He's super hungry. He's proving himself. And that's great to keep everyone on their toes. But I think it will just breed animosity almost. I don't think it'll be a good move generally. And it can definitely work for some teams. I just don't think for our new roster, when we're still finding our footing, it's impossible to suggest like we need a sixth player right now. So we're definitely on the lookout for a sixth still. It's not at the top of my priority list. I want to make sure that we focus on the tournaments first. And then moving into 2021, I have a short list of names. The old guard, I guess you can call them, of potential sixth players to come in who can potentially stream for us and then be that active or replacement sixth player.
Cool. I look forward to C9 Guardian. es3tag, how was it? How was it to be the sixth man on the roster? Did you feel, as Henry described, the animosity welling up within you? Was the rage building?
I mean, I was only really sitting out for one match, I think.
And that one match, he was furious. That was it.
I wasn't furious, but I was just sitting with the feeling of like I could do better. But it was you would always have that feeling if you weren't playing, I'm sure. But I didn't feel any rage per se. I just felt like because I really wanted to win with them, and you know how it is. So sitting out was really rough for me, and it would have been probably been as rough as even if they won. Like it probably would have been the same. Like they didn't need me in order to win. So I don't know. Like I wasn't really the sixth player as much. So it's really hard to ask me about it
So
because
Bubsky was angry.
I was
I get
really
it. Okay, he was the angry.
probably like I wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to describe how Bubsky would feel on the roster. But I know he already told me he didn't mind, like he's learning, like so did I. Even when I wasn't playing, I was learning a lot, spectating Sipik, spectating sometimes Bubsky. Like I didn't mind at all learning there. I feel like it was a great getting a different side of the perspective. But it definitely feels kind of boring and kind of dull not playing. You kind of want to be playing yourself as well, keep yourself in the game. So I don't know, there's a lot of aspects to it. I think to some extent you learn a lot, and to another extent you just want to be playing because it's what we're here to do. But I also think sometimes I guess it's a luxury that we have in the CS:GO scene. It's a new sport. Like there's no real like substitutes. It's only coming now. I mean, football players must be a nerve-wracking sport for them, right? Whether or not they're playing, I wouldn't be able to say. But I think sixth player is the way to go. Just not sure, like Henry says, if it should be like in between maps. But I guess in the future it should be. The more when it's more refined. I think it's way too early though right now for Vitality to be doing what they're doing with Masuta, in my opinion.
I
I think
actually prefer what they're doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's quite good. If you have players that you know aren't good on certain maps, then just swap them out. As long as it's viable on LAN, I'm not sure how it will work. Like, you have a 10-minute break between maps on LAN. How are you going to get set up and warmed up in 10 minutes on stage? I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But I prefer that system to Astralis' one right now, at least.
Question for you guys is, which team do you think is the strongest besides yourselves, or will be the toughest opponent for you at Flashpoint?
It's hard to tell because obviously all the like the bigger names, we have so much data on them that it doesn't make it easier, but we know what to expect. Whereas like other teams like MIBR who haven't played much but have shown like that they're super skilled, it can be tougher. So I would say Fnatic just because I don't think I've seen them play that much like in
That's a
the
good
last
point.
week or so.
Yeah.
And they've been at boot camp I think for a while now. So I guess Fnatic, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably Fnatic as well. That would be my guess. Maybe nah, Fnatic. I was gonna say maybe Big, but I think it's just Fnatic.
And we'll end this with a little bit more of a lighthearted question that somebody asked. What shows are you guys all watching right now and enjoying? If you had to recommend a recent television
TV shows
program.
are normal things. Okay, I've just finished watching The Boys. I thought that was pretty good.
The
That was
boys.
that was pretty entertaining. Like I haven't watched much good TV this year, I'll be honest. I watched a lot of documentaries, but in terms of fiction, yeah, The Boys was pretty spot on.
Recommended documentary. Come on.
I'm not sure the documentaries I watch necessarily safe for this broadcast. Can I not just leave it at The Boys for that? Is that not fine? Is that not a viable answer? I just watched some strange stuff, you know. It's like it's going to be reflected poorly, I think. I watched a lot of conspiracy stuff, you know. I don't really want to get into it, but yeah.
Don't.
I would say my answer is, just to be clear, The Boys. That's a good show. Just watch that. Easy.
I'm sure everyone in Twitch chat knows who The Boys are because it's the one and only ad every single time, man.
True.
On Twitch,
The Boys.
I've been watching a great reality TV show called The US Election recently. One of the main characters has just come out with fraud accusation, so it's like it's getting super spicy at the moment. I'm enjoying it a lot.
You know, I really like that show in particular myself because you know, people rag on the system that they chose to use, but personally, I find that doing it state by state really adds to the entertainment value. If it was just a number at the end, it wouldn't be so fun to watch, right? So the format of the reality show really makes it much more enticing, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it's great. I didn't know there was like rules where if it's under 1%, you get to revote. You can go to the Supreme Court and everything. It's just like I'm learning so much. It's great. I've been enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah, at Flashpoint, we've actually been thinking about using an electoral college format, you know, in the future for our tournament.
Why not? Sounds good.
Yeah, it's proven so entertaining. All right, es3tag. How about you?
I like to sometimes play chess in my spare time, so I actually been enjoying the Queen's Gambit.
I've been watching that the first couple
It's
episodes. Really good.
It's really good. It's really good. So I could recommend that one.
Yeah, I heard.
What about you, Monty? What are you watching?
Well, I've been watching Queen's Gambit, the first couple of episodes of that, and it's been
Not
good.
heard of that one.
I actually, you know, in documentaries that I can talk about, I don't even know what the fuck you've been watching, Henry. Send me some of that shit though.
I will after.
DM me. send me your illicit documentaries. I'm very curious now. But I've been watching. If you watch Ken Burns documentaries, are you a Ken Burns fan, Henry?
I don't know who that is, so can't say.
Jesus. Okay. If you you don't watch very many documentaries, then. So I was watching his 10-part series on country music, and it was great. It was great.
There you go. Not gonna rush to that one, I would say, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Country music's not really my thing, I'll be honest. I can see it now.
It doesn't matter if it's your thing. A great documentary makes it
helps.
You know, so like here's an example. So I'm not a Formula One fan, but I was watching Formula One Drive to Survive, which is just fucking awesome, and made me really enjoy a lot of things about Formula One because of how good that documentary series is.
True, but I think I would get more into F1 than I would country music. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should watch a documentary and report back. We can exchange tips and tricks.
I mean, you're really just missing out because country music is great. What have you been listening to, Henry? Then.
Oh God.
Can you talk about that? Is that inappropriate?
I can. No, it is. I'm really on a kind of a rap vibe right now. I'm
rap.
I listen to kind of exclusively rap right now this year, especially. Maybe
the Run the Jewels album is fucking.
Run the Jewels that's a great one. I listen to more on the spectrum of rap, more of the sad stuff. Kind of sad boy rap, I think it's called. So that's kind of it's like the emo for 2020. It's great. It's really good. So I've been listening to a lot of that, and yeah, there we go.
All right, well, we'll end it with you guys. So Alex, es3tag, what have you been listening to? We'll broaden the conversation.
Good question. Wait, let me open Spotify.
let me just see my last likes.
Yeah, no, just like I always listen to the same kind of like chilled music, like Kygo, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I listen to like chill EDM. I see what like this one is basically going on repeat. Head and Heart featuring Mnek or whatever. I don't know, that one is top of the chart right now for me. But
Well,
a lot of chill
you'll like
house.
it because we've got some really awesome mixes at Flashpoint that you'll be
Yeah?
able to download, guys. Yeah, we've got a DJ who is making mixes for us during our breaks, so offering you guys unique
Yeah,
content.
we need to do a content segment where Patrick and I listen to this music and we rate it.
Okay, that's fine. You'll
yeah.
rate it. It's actually really good. No joke. I'll send it to you guys after we're done with this, and you can
Alright, sounds
listen to
good.
the preview and
Sounds
enjoy
good.
it.
Sounds good.
All right. So we'll see you guys. We got to go. You have other things to do. I'm going to go eat dinner. And then we'll be back for the group selection, which Alex will be doing. And we'll record his camera and his voice comms as well for later use. So if he wants to talk mad shit during it, talk to his teammates about what he's doing. Do you understand the rules, Alex? They're very complicated. I made them
Yeah, I
especially
think
complicated for you.
I've got it now. It took a few hours, but I think I've got it.
It is fun though. It is fun. Sad we can't do it in person this time because it's way more entertaining if we get everybody on stage talking shit to each other. But that will be a post-pandemic special. So
I was just
you guys
confused
go
by the swap rules. Like the top team can veto the swap. Is that what's going on?
Yes, but they have a limited number of vetoes, so they can't just veto it willy-nilly. They have to be thoughtful about their vetoes. Otherwise,
sounds
can
good.
really fuck them up. Don't worry, you won't be a top slot, so not really.
Oh, we know. Thank you.
Not yet. Flashpoint 3, you're going to be top slot, I'm sure.
Number one, baby. Let's do it.
You're going to get all the points in the rankings after winning Flashpoint 2. All right, guys. So we will see you next week. We'll get the schedule out of when Cloud9 is playing in the next couple of days at Flashpoint, so you can come along and see what I'm told by these gentlemen will be a fabulous debut. I'll be the judge of that later on, but I'm certainly excited about it, and I'm sure you guys are too. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Nines presented by AT&T, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having us.